All right, let's go. World War III within me. World War III within oneself. What does that mean and how does that pertain to your success? We're going to get into that today. We thank you for tapping in, tuning into Your Future Self 365. We got a great gift for you today, so stay tuned. Start off by reading these words from Neville Goddard. If you haven't read the book, The Feeling by Neville Goddard, it's a great book to read. And in a chapter called The Spirit or the Feeling, he says these words. He says, when a man believes in the value of the advice given him and applies it, he establishes within himself the reality of success. Reality of success. And this is what we all want, is that right? We want to be successful in our endeavors, our family, our personal, family, community, and nationhood. Is that right? In the world. Who doesn't want to be world known or famous or world renowned? Anyone that says they don't, honestly, we're lying to themselves as well as others. So how do we get this success in this time of so much turbulence and trouble that may be within us and around us, on the outside of us? So not only is this word of God valuable on a spiritual level, but it's also valuable on a social, economical level. And understanding that we are in a time of universal change. So the war that's within oneself is a struggle from the old you to the new you. So how do we apply and tap into that change, that universal change that's going on, that struggle, that by knowing the time? And in the 103rd chapter of the Quran, Al-Asr, which means the time in ancient Arabic language of our ancestors, he says, in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, by the time, surely man is in loss, except those who believe and do good and exhort one another to truth and exhort one another to patience. I'm going to say that again. By the time, surely man is in loss, except those who believe and do good and exhort one another to truth and exhort one another to patience. This is what we strive to do here at Your Future Self 365, is to exhort one another to truth and exhort one another to patience. And this is something that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan teaches, that we're not patient human beings. From childbirth, we're born impatient. We come out of the womb crying, wanting attention, and we cry and we want attention. So patience is something that we have to gain over time, how to be patient for our manifestation and our success to come into our life. And this is a struggle. This is a real challenge for many of us, some more than others. But we all have this challenge that we face. So in the book of Zechariah in the Bible, because we reference these things to become more successful, and God, by whatever name you may take him on to be, he left instructions and guidance for us, as well as a man who is a guide for us. And we should all be guides and lights in this time of darkness and be a shining light. And this is what we represent in Your Future Self. But it says in Zechariah 4:6, not by might, no, not by your strength alone, nor by power, not by your influence, presidents or whatever, prime ministers, but by my spirit, saith the Lord of hosts. So it's by the spirit, saith the Lord. Your spirit. How is your spirit today? How is your spirit when you wake up in the morning? How is your spirit? Is it an attitude of gratitude? Or is it an attitude that's stuck in the past, stuck in the negativity of yesterday? Are you turning over a new leaf today when you wake up, giving thanks and get on your knees and submit to thanking God today? That's your spirit. How is your spirit? How is your spirit today? This is a troubling time. And with so many distractions and things going on around us, it's a psyop. It's an actual operation or programming to lower your spirit, to lessen your spirit, so that you won't be able to acquire the blessing that God has for you, to be successful, to fulfill your purpose in life. Many of us think that we can continue to party and BS and not take care of business and handle business because we're going to live forever, or think, lottery mentality that one day we're going to hit it big or something like that. But that's not reality. The odds of that happening are very slim. But when we really or face the truth, look in the mirror and see the truth of the matter is that we're in a struggle because we're in our own way. We don't want to submit. We don't want to give up doing the old things that have produced the same results in our life. So that's the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing, expecting a different result. But now is the time of universal change. In the Bible, they call it Judgment Day. In the Quran, they call it the Day of Allah. But we're in a time of universal change. Look at all the things that's going on in the world and tell me that's not a sign of universal change that's taking place. Now, if we look at all those things and not think that it affects us and applies to us as well, then we're sadly mistaken. But going back to the feeling, how do you change your spirit and protect your spirit? Not only change it, but once you get it up on a high vibration, how do you protect it? This is what's very important. And in a past video, I spoke about how being careful and mindful of the videos you watch, the music you listen to. This is how you safeguard your mind and your spirit and your heart. Because as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So we have to safeguard our mind and our visuals, what we see, like our neighborhoods. When we come outside of our home, are our homes clean? Are we keeping up our yard? Are we keeping the little house that we have? Treat it like it's a mansion. Treat it like it's $1 million. Don't wait till that happens to think that you're going to have that mentality. Then treat the little things you have now as if they're the big things you want to acquire later. And in the book, The Feeling, Neville Goddard says, capture the feeling associated with your realized wish by assuming the feeling that would be yours. Were you already in possession of the thing you desire, and your wish will objectify itself. So how would it feel when your goal is acquired? How do you feel? Feel that way now as your prayers already answered. Become that person that you idolize or you want to be, righteous, hopefully, individual. And he said, in the feeling is the secret. Faith is feeling. According to your faith, feeling, be it unto you. Matthew 9:29. To him that hath it shall be given, and to him that have not it shall be taken away. Matthew 13:12, 25, 29, and Mark 4:25, Luke 8:18, as well as 19 and 26. These are all scriptures you can go back and reference later. But in Genesis 1:27, this is some powerful stuff here. So hopefully you got taking notes, re-watch this video over and over. But so God created man in his own image, and in the image of God, and created him. Genesis 1:27. And then in Philippians 2:5-6, it reads, "Let this mind be in you, which is also in Christ Jesus, who being in the form of God, thought it not robbery to be equal with God." You hear that? It's not rob. For a long time, people have been running around saying they're gods. That's true. They might not really deeply believe it or act it, but that's part of the universal change going on. It says it right here in Philippians. Thought it not robbery to be equal with God. You are that which you believe yourself to be. See, now this puts a lot of responsibility on us as individuals to clean up our act. And this is what Minister Farrakhan, Nation of Islam, been trying to do with the Million Man March and the Million More movement. Joining an organization, not just join the Nation of Islam, join the church, join the organization, community group, be a part of something. Because like he teaches, if you're not part of something, you're going to be part of nothing or by yourself. No man is an island. And if you look at the biology of things, miscarriages happen when the egg doesn't attach to the uterus walls, as Minister Farrakhan taught us. And when it doesn't attach itself to something in the uterus walls, it miscarriages when the baby is born. So their death happens. So don't be a part of that death, be a part of that life. Attach yourself to something, you know? And Neville Goddard also goes on to say, instead of believing in God or in Jesus alone, believe you are God or you are Jesus. He that believeth on me, the works that I do shall he also do. John 14:12. Should be he that believes as I believe, the works that I do shall he also do. Jesus found it not strange to do the works of God because he believed himself to be God. And Jesus said, quote, I and my Father are one. John 10:30. It is natural to do the works of the one you believe yourself to be. Follow Farrakhan. You know what I mean? He is the Messiah, Jesus in our day. This man is true. He sacrificed. No man like it. There are other men that sacrifice that you can be like, that are righteous as well. But you gotta, pick up your cross, sacrifice, and don't just think that you can do it all on your own. So live in the feeling of being the one you want to be, and that you shall be. At the beginning, I read this, and I'm going to read it again as we close. When a man believes in the value of the advice given him and applies it, he establishes within himself the reality of success. We don't have forever. If you look into what's called the doomsday clock, they call it, and they've never been closer in over 40 or 50 years. The doomsday clock is like, 30 seconds away from 12 o'clock. And this doomsday clock, it goes according to, nuclear disaster. But I wouldn't focus too much on what's going on outside of us. I would just focus on what's going on inside of you, the universe inside of you. Let's clean up that universe inside of us. Let's do more to help exhort truth and exhort patience to others. Helping out in the community, being a philanthropist, being charitable, being patient with one another, being tolerant to one another, being helpful to the elderly, to the young, sick children. The cleaning up our act, doing the best we can to be a helping hand in this time of trouble and be successful and resourceful at the same time. This is World War III within me, and we will overcome it if we follow the guidance and advice. We will establish success. I thank you. We will thank you for tuning into Your Future Self 365. It's always been a blast. I'm grateful and never thank you enough. And tune in next time. We'll see you next time. Thank you. May God continue to bless you. Peace.